All right, so you've set up your business and you want to keep your cost base as low as possible because you're a startup, every penny counts. So you've got your Gmail account. You're going to use Gmail because you get Google Sheets, Google Docs, all the other Google elements for just a couple of pounds or dollars or euros a month. So you get a single email address, info@yourcompanyname.com.co.uk. It's important you have that company name after the @ because it shows you are a company, that you're serious. We get a ton of emails from somebody@gmail.com. I delete every single one because they're obviously not professional. They haven't just taken the one tiny step to be sales@widgets.com or whatever their company is. They're trying to, they're at Outlook, @Gmail. It's rubbish. You must be your company name. So info@yourcompanyname dot whatever your either .co.uk or .com. First thing, okay, you don't need Outlook, you don't need all that nonsense, you don't need some paid for email service. Gmail is more than good enough, and I'll explain why. One, with that single email address for your entire set of employees, it shows transparency to them, that nothing is hidden, that all correspondence is open. And then what you do down your left-hand side in your Gmail is set up folders. We set up a inbox. So for, let's say, Tim, Gemma, Victoria, Simon, you set up a folder with their name on. Now, anything that comes into the inbox can be filtered to go to their respective inboxes. So not only do you have the main inbox where every generic email goes to, but then sub inboxes. I hope that makes sense. And what we would do, we'd choose unique names to trigger that filter to work. Because if you just put Edward, lots of emails are going to skip past the inbox into Edward's folder. So we'd choose unique names as our staff names to trigger that filter to work. So you have your folders, you then have your filters that skip past the inbox. And what we loved about Gmail was the schedule function. You, for example, when you reply to someone, you generally don't want to reply. You don't want to reply to them straight away, because how I see it, this is kind of a psychological perspective. Someone emails in, and for them, they've got that task off their plate. They had it on their to-do list to reply to you. They've done the email, they've sent it. The last thing they want is within 3 minutes a response from you. They want to now get on with their other tasks, and maybe tomorrow, the next day, or the day after, they'll be thinking, oh yeah, a response, and then they can once again put you into their to-do list to reply again. But let's say you do see that email come in and you do respond immediately. You then schedule the send for at least the next day. We did it, and with customers especially, you need to buy yourself time. If you're doing aftercare, their email comes in, we've got a problem with whatever product. You see the email because maybe you're up to date, so you construct the reply. The worst thing you can do is reply right then and there. You are then setting a precedent, right word, for that customer now expects a reply within 5 minutes. We had this problem, and it's why we use the schedule function so extensively. With almost every email was scheduled to send 24 hours later. And what happens is, so the customer gets an immediate response, they then immediately respond, and when on a few occasions, when we didn't then respond immediately because something else happened, a delivery or another job or whatever, the customer then complained that we were ignoring them because we'd set the precedent that we could respond in 5 minutes to their first email. So we then learned, let's say we can respond to every customer email within 24 hours. Fine. So then every scheduled response was 24 hours later. So 1 business day. That's quite a, obviously when you get really busy, that's quite a big ask, because often when you contact customers, I'm sure you're used to it, we'll respond within 2 weeks. Okay. So make sure you bring that metric down to an achievable rate of reply. I think 2 days is fair. 48 hours, I would want a response within 48 hours, 2 days. Next business day, that's a big promise, especially if you're super busy or have other things going on. So a 48-hour response. Use the schedule function. Buy yourself time. Nobody wants an instant response, because I also know that an instant response has had no thought. If you reply to me within 3 to 5 minutes, you've gone send. You haven't gone let me think about this. Have I said the right things? Have I constructed this sentence? Have I given it any thought or consideration? No, you haven't. You've emotional response, send. So it also enables you to construct a draft the next day. Oh, I didn't quite like the way I worded that. I need to use a different word because it wasn't quite right. It didn't, your brain overnight goes through everything you've done. And often the next day you construct a much better sentence. So this is so key. And I think this will lead on to another video about persuasion and constructing the right sentences. People just overlook this, especially these days, that the words you choose and the way you construct the sentence, they're so key to getting what you want. Drafts and templates. So when it comes to responding to customers, we had template replies. Reason is, well, there's several reasons why. One, saves you typing out the same message every single time. And every reply to the customer will be the same, because you want to give everyone the same level of service. So you want to say almost exactly the same things. We appreciate you contacting us. We're sorry to hear about the problem with your product. We're endeavoring to work with a brand to solve it. And so we would have a Google Doc with all our templated responses, because you also want to be efficient. So you don't want your customer service people typing out every message unique. You want copy, paste, change the specific details, schedule send, 48 hours, done. If you ever see your staff typing out messages, you got to ask them, why are you doing that? Can you create a template? Save down that template into Google Doc, copy and paste, and send. And if they say, oh no, I like to type each one. No, you don't. You set up a template, copy, paste. I'm not asking, I'm telling. And I hate that phrase. I'm telling, I'm not asking. But sometimes you do just have to stamp it. And I found it was notorious with people that thought they knew best, that they would type their own unique responses to each customer. Those you've got to be really careful with people that think they know better. We've been doing this 10 years. This is how we do it. Copy, paste your templated response. Do not create a unique email to that customer, because also the customer needs to become a non-customer. They need to appreciate that they're now just in a process. We're not having a relationship. This isn't a one-to-one interaction. There's a fault with the product. We're going to resolve the fault. This is a process, not a personal interaction. There's nothing the customer can do to speed up or slow down the process. It's going to proceed at the natural rate. And it's really important that the template is very vanilla, very plain, will resolve your problem. Almost inhuman. Sounds bizarre, but I completely disagree in a personal response to a customer. Overall, it's the opposite of what's needed. They need to be talking to a computer, which thank God is happening. And soon AI will handle all of these faults and customer service. And thank God humans won't have to interact with other humans. So yeah, drafts and templates, really crucial. Schedule those emails, set up your filters, one inbox, lots of folders. It can send you from, I don't know how many employees this will take up to, easily 20. And then I would just have whoever the boss is and maybe the finance function, they just use their personal email for any sensitive information. Nothing else needs to be hidden. Because remember, this also creates a transparency within the organization. They can see what you're sending, you can see what they're sending, and they'll have no temptation, if they had their own email, to start side conversations, which I think is also another dangerous habit to get into. Yeah, this template one is really, it's a bit like having your templated responses to customers, I think is so important. I can't almost stress it enough. And that your customer service staff have to be trained to operate this and not sit there typing. That it annoys me when staff won't listen, won't learn, and think that they know best. That's Gmail for Business. Best of luck. That's it.